You're listening to Stroke Warrior Radio, a production of Stroke Warrior Wave Communications. At Stroke Warrior Radio, we believe recovery does not end with formal therapy ends. Recovery is a lifelong journey of adapting, learning, rebuilding, and discovering what is still possible. Today, we're talking about a subject that affects every one of us at some point. Joining us today is Shane, I'm sorry, Janet Shane, long-term traumatic brain injury survivor, coach, speaker, and advocate who has spent decades learning, living, and teaching lessons about resilience, perspective, self-discovery, and finding purpose after life-changing adversity. Janet, welcome to Stroke Warrior Radio again.
Thank you for having me again, Ralph. I love spending my time with you and I love sharing the nuggets.
I love it too. And I really appreciate all you do for the community. It's really inspiring. Thank you. Um, Today, we're going to talk a little bit about life is what you focus on. When recovery is difficult under circumstances are, let's say, unfair, when progress feels slow, and when challenges seem much larger than our ability to handle them. Where do we place our focus? How do we keep moving forward? Um, so I'm going to ask you, during those difficult times, how do you keep moving forward?
Oh, there are a few different ways. One, I am spiritually oriented, so prayer is definitely part of it. I pray and I ask, and I really stay really I'm I'm learning to stay very vigilant at where are my thoughts, having awareness of what am I thinking and why am I thinking that way. And I'm learning the more we ask ourselves questions, the more we can get to the root cause of what we're feeling. And ultimately, if you're not going to listen to anything else and you're not feeling and seeing improvement, just know that if you take one step every day and celebrate what you did, whether you achieved it or not, you can't not eventually take a leap because each of those stacks stack like a Lego and the efforts will compound and eventually the gates will break open.
I agree. Those small victories add up.
And you have to celebrate them all. Cuz I'll be very honest, I guess I probably have done a lot. I don't know. I just keep going like all of us.
Yeah.
And I was on a summit the last earlier this week and it was about collaborating with other people and that and I didn't speak about what I did except just saying what I do, that I'm helping, brain injury survivors to find self-acceptance and build self-confidence and more after injury. And like the comments I got back, I was like, whoa, like for me it's just life. But it's a life that I have now accepted, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I think it's not, we can't minimize our hardships, but kind of our goal is to discuss practical ways people can move through those hardships while continuing to find purpose and meaning and gratitude. I mean,
It's the only way. The
yeah,
only path is through it.
yeah. And self-talk, like you said, vigilant thinking, self-talk is really one of the forgotten tools, I think, you know.
Self-talk, because it wasn't that long ago, Ralph. I would get up, and I think I did a post for about it this last week here. I would get up, I would do all the right things, everything that that they said that to do to like other professionals that were successful in business and different things. that what they did, I was doing them. And then as soon as I was done, boom, there was monkey chatter. You can't do that. Why do you think you can do that? And it drove me nuts. I'm like, I'm starting with prayer. I'm starting with gratitude. I'm starting with meditate. I don't know if I was meditating at that time, but I probably wasn't.
Yeah.
because, but, and I was just frustrated. I was like, and the awareness of it, and also the meditation is huge. It's one of the first things that I do. Like I give thanks for the day, and then I do some other things to activate good energy, and I get a drink of water, and then I come right into this room where I am right now, and I go into 20 minutes of meditation, and it starts out with breath work, because otherwise this mind will rule your actions for the whole day. By doing that, if there's no other reason, I mean, because I thought meditation was against my faith. It's not against any faith. It's just getting still, getting quiet, and doing breath work, and you're not going to stop the thoughts, but you can say, no, I'm focused on breath, and pull your power back against your mind. And it start with 5 minutes. If I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
start where you can, and you can't do it lying down because you're going to fall asleep, and that does no good. You have to be sitting up, but that will start giving you the authority over your mind to not let it rule you and run your life.
You know, I think, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately because this is what I'm going through. A lot of we don't realize how much our brain injury has affected our, I guess they call it executive function.
Mm.
Um, that word you said, what did you say? Monkey talk? The monkey talk
Chitter
is
chatter.
all,
It's
yeah, the monkey chatter. It's all over the place. And
oh,
sometimes it's hard to realize that, you really have to, and that's part of the cognitive issue I have, I guess, is I don't realize I have to stop and pay attention on what I really need to focus on because there's so many things being thrown at us. There's recovery, there's learning, there's all kinds of things thrown at
well,
us.
it's that's why I'm not really working for the people that are like in the first year or two of injury, because that's when it is about therapy. It is about all of those things, all the different kinds of therapies and whatnots. It's when life has moved a little bit on,
Yeah,
that I want to be there to help them, because I don't want them to go 2.5 decades like I did, not knowing that they don't have to just let that negative self-talk be there. They don't have to let their mind rule them. Your mind and your brain are two different things. And what you're talking about there, Ralph, with the executive stuff and that, um, comes down to presence.
yes.
When you are living in the now, you will know what you've done. And if you and when you don't know what you did or where you said something, you weren't present. It's a hard truth. But I had that experience, and let me tell you, I've been tested, with having the new grandbaby, and that one I didn't sleep well in the beginning of the week because I was not worried, but you're still
Yeah.
futzing through things. And I stayed up. The old programs kicked in, and I would stay up to almost midnight. And then I got up at 5 a.m., but I was tired as all get out. And now
Yeah.
it's kind of catching up on me. I'm still emotional. Um, it's harder for me to keep my thoughts right now, but I just had coffee, so I'm pretty good for you. And but you also have to watch the caffeine. Also, I mean, you can have some, but as a survivor, It's not always our friend. So there's a fine line and you got to find it for your body. But I find it frustrating when I that I'm like that because I'm usually pretty
Yeah.
good. And I'm driving myself nuts. I looked at my daughter-in-law today and I went, I'm working really hard to be me. If I repeat something because I don't know what I'm saying, I'm sorry. And she's like, it's
Yeah.
okay. And so, I mean, give yourself grace, but if you do something, take the lesson from it. When you can't find what you wanted or you can't recall what you wanted, then look back at what was I doing? Why didn't I stop and take a breath to know exactly what I'm doing?
And I think what I agree with, and this is my interpretation, it's important for people to understand that there's going to be difficult life seasons. And for us, there's also difficult recovery seasons. So we've got two things
We're
that are,
special people.
yeah, we are. There you
We
go.
are
We are
special
special.
people. And I love unicorns, so I'm going to say we're all special, beautiful unicorns. And we're all meant to live life the way I mean, you can still live and be everything that you were created to be. It's just you got to pull out your big girl pants or your big boy pants and go through the storm. Is it easy?
Oh no,
No, no. Is
no.
it worth it? Absolutely.
There's, people use motivational messages. I think one of the things I struggle with is I do have motivational stuff posted all over my house. You know, on my mirror in the bathroom, all that stuff. I think one of the things that I do is using those, I don't often acknowledge the hardship. And and it's, how do I want to say it? I don't, by not acknowledging the hardship, I'm also giving up. So, I mean, there's some kind of focus that you have to address these issues.
Well, motivation will not take you where you need to go. Okay? The true grit comes from within. And I'm not saying that don't have what you have because, honey, I use mirror. Mirror talk that's not motivation. That is just you being honest with who you are and not letting the woe me, the oh, I'm having a bad day. Oh, I don't like myself. Oh, why did I do that? I'm so dumb and blah, blah. To cut it and look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and say, we don't act that way anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one
But,
of go
but
ahead.
you need, it's very, very, very important that you give yourself space, give yourself 5, 10 minutes of the woe me and just feel it. Because if you don't allow yourself to feel it, you're shoving it underneath the rug. And then that rug just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and anger comes out, and frustration comes out, and you take it out on other people. So then your relationships suffer, and your health gets affected, everything. So you need to allow yourself to feel it. Journal it, yell, scream. Those are all sonomic releases.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it in a safe place that someone knows that you're not, like killing yourself or someone's killing you. But, you know, I have a mentor that does it in the shower. And,
Oh, okay.
because you're water, you're in touch with nature.
Right.
And it's also a kind of, but her family knows that. So warn anyone in your house that, hey, I might need to scream, but I'm fine. I'm not hurt. but you need to let it out. If you don't let it out, is what
Oh,
happens eventually.
it's gonna get this big ball that's gonna explode.
Yeah, it's
You
that
know,
pretending
yeah,
that I
yeah.
talk about.
I think one of the things that I enjoy about talking with you is that a lot of survivors um, have emotional struggles that they rarely discuss openly. And I think one of the things that I've learned is you got to find somebody, and maybe it's a higher power, maybe it's another person, maybe it's yourself in the mirror, maybe it's a therapist, maybe it's an actual counselor, but you got to find somebody to get this shit out. Sorry for the
Yeah,
language, but
no,
you know,
I have moments. I've had many of those moments this week. Okay, where I'm just like, and but I want to say this. I have been doing the work. And when that came up, and I wanted someone to help me, not that that's wrong, because there was a place and a time when I couldn't help myself. But now I know how to help myself and I know how to listen to my body. And I would stop and I'd say, okay, I'm trying to reach outside of me. Why? Why do I need to interact with somebody? What's going on? What am I feeling? What am I truly feeling? And I would journal. I did the mirror. I cried. Did I have a perfect week? Did I show up absolutely wonderful? No, I got in trouble a few times with my husband for being quite short and quite irritable. But you know what? Versions of me ago wouldn't have been able to handle this week. I would have been a mess, a
yeah.
complete mess. And I am going to toot my own horn. I am very proud of how I'm starting to be able to look within. But it takes time, patience, and effort. And it's not like hard work. It's just work knowing like because you have to look at yourself, but without judgment. That's the key. Because if you
Yeah.
bring judgment into it, that's just the egoic mind trying to rule you again.
Well, and I think one of the things that you've said a couple times is you can help yourself now, but a lot of survivors don't get to the point where they realize they should ask for help. I mean, you got a mentor, you've asked for help in your recovery that got you to this point. So for
Yeah,
our
I
listeners,
had to pay for that. I mean, that wasn't
yeah,
insurance. I mean, that was flat out. I had to pay for it because the medical system, every counselor I went to, every therapist, or whatever, they didn't understand what it was like to be me.
yeah,
And they just put me under the non-unicorn rug and it didn't fit. It was a waste of time and money. I mean, it might have been covered a little bit with insurance, but I didn't get anything out of it because it couldn't help.
yeah, yeah. And a lot of us don't have the cognitive skill, or we have fear about
I
asking
would
for
say
help.
I would argue it's more fear than cognitive skills because your injury did not make you unsmart.
Oh, I like that. You know, and
It
there
it
is a
didn't take
fear.
it
I mean,
away.
you don't want to
It is
ask for
fear.
help because when you ask for help, you're admitting a weakness. But it's not a weakness. It's not a
No, it's
weakness.
not.
It's
No.
just something you have to get through.
Well, but I also, on the flip side of things there, Ralph, I was told early on that there were things that I wasn't going to be able to do by myself. And so I got really pretty good at just yelling for help
Yeah,
to the right people. And you know what? There, am I perfect at it? No. But I sure give. things a huge more go myself, but it never fails. I'm trying, I'm trying, I'm trying. I get frustrated and I'm like, and so maybe it's something with the computer or whatever, and I'll be like, Joshua.
Yeah.
And as soon as I say their name, that person's name out loud to have them come to me, voila, I figured it out. And it's like I just have to say it
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But see,
to
that's
help me cross over.
and that's one of the good things about what we talk about is there's a progression to it all,
Oh,
you know.
absolutely.
And we had to I had to learn patience to get to understand that there's a progression of the physical and emotional and physiological.
Spiritual, health wise, it's all areas of life.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What have let's call what have your difficult seasons taught you?
It's a big question. Um,
I mean, what
that
you
I
know,
never walk, that I do not walk this alone. And it was pointed out to me at an event. Um, I want to say back in, yeah, it was May because we're at the beginning of June. Um, it was for soulpreneurs and health coaches and healers and kind of that the world that I live in and exist
right?
in with business and that. And she pointed out something I never gave a thought about. And that what she put out, I have thought on multiple layers. One, I know I don't walk this alone because I'm here because Jesus told me I would be okay. I mean, that's why I'm here. Hands down. I know that. But she said, you didn't just say yes to Jesus once. You said yes to Jesus twice. You agreed to the life that you're living right now. Money, health, the whole shamo. I agreed to what I'm living. And
Yeah,
it's my job to keep improving so I can do what I was really authentically created to do. And there's always another layer. We're like onions.
yeah,
And uh, also growing out into nature, whether it's for a walk, putting my feet in the grass, touching a tree, grounding. Like literally when my daughter-in-law had gotten moved to the hospital that they were gonna be inducing her, I was scared. I was worried and I knew all that and I didn't want that. And I was at my in-laws and I just literally we were in their woods with the little trees that we plant every year in that and I sat on the ground and I like literally was trying to like hover the ground with my body and try to let as much of the negative energy because nature will do that. Will take the negative energy away if you allow yourself to make contact.
yeah. Well, and I like this the what you said about choice. You made the choice to live twice because I think one of the things that happens to us is once we make that choice, we don't live it. You know, we don't, I guess life is what you focus on.
Well,
That's
yeah. I mean, if you
that's the
focus on
choice.
if you guilty as charged here. If you focus on what you don't have, if you focus on that I don't have money, if you focus on I can't do that, you focus on that's hard for me. Everything you focus on, you're just reinforcing. And and I've heard that over and over and over. And if you're new to listening to that or hearing that, if you don't get it, it's okay. Because let me tell you, it takes learning it over and over and over and nothing changes until nothing changes. And until the day God had that come to me when I was sitting on my bed tying my shoes about 2 years ago, I was like, oh, it was like a light bulb was turned on. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And change is not easy for us. Not that you
Yeah,
can't do it. No one likes change, not even some people without an injury. Change is not easy, but it really is the only way to find what you were, the abundance can be there. You just got to
yeah.
open the door.
Well, and there's levels of that too. I mean,
Oh, honey,
people,
there are levels on everything.
it's like, am I happy? No, but I'm satisfied. Am I satisfied? No, but there's no but. I think we do that a lot or too much.
Instead of but, try and. I'm I'm satisfied and I'm allowed to desire more.
There you go. There you go. Yeah,
Reframing is a tool for everyone that walks this earth. If you want more in your life, if you want to experience more joy, love, peace, fulfillment, whatever, money, whatever, it doesn't matter. Warren Buffett, I saw on his Instagram a few months ago, when something happens, immediately he finds three reframing positive things to make the situation, because the brain will tag onto that immediately. So he flips the switch and makes it a positive immediately, three times over in three different ways.
hmm. How do you think focus shapes our emotional experience?
If you focus on the lack, you're going to be miserable. You're and it's going to be hard on you physically, mentally, on the whole package. Focus is, I mean, it's not always easy. Like I told you this week, I'll like start and then I'm like, oh, what was I going to say? What
Yeah,
was I going to say? But I know that, and I got to give myself grace. And I've allowed myself to lay down for, shut my eyes for 10 minutes and I lay there, or whatever. And I'm like, God, just help me rest. God, it's not always about napping. It's about just let my rest. Let me rest. Let my brain rest. Please just let my brain rest. you
yeah.
know, and, and focus. If you're really having problems, a single breath, really a legit me
Yeah. That five
makes
seconds can make a big
makes
difference.
makes a huge, it will give you that power to choose.
And during our recoveries, we're given a lot of negatives. I mean, we're given this as good as it's going to get, all those
That's
kind of things.
bull hockey.
I
That
know it
is
is.
just their easy way to get out of a situation, and they don't like your uncomfortable questions. Advocate for
I,
yourself and don't give up.
yeah, exactly. You're the captain of your team. You tell them what the hell is going on. But those negative thought patterns that are thrown at us can affect so many other things. So I guess I'm saying, for me anyway, the focus had to be there because the negative thought patterns that were being thrown at me and I was using myself created less recovery, physical recovery, created less emotional recovery.
hmm
So I mean, there's
Awareness will
again,
help you.
here's
If
the,
you're going to focus on anything, focus on the awareness, which is
yeah.
taking in what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and why.
What do you think the difference between awareness and dwelling is?
Dwelling is looking at all the negative. Awareness is just opening and turning on the light to what's going on and what you're thinking and what you're doing and why you're taking the action you're taking. And are you following your mind on what you're supposed to do, or are you following your inner GPS? Because your inner GPS always outrules what the mind is thinking.
Never heard it described that way. How
It's
can
called
people,
being.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
being and not doing. We're
Oh,
all
there you go.
doers. We're all good at being doers. But if you're not being who you are meant to be and listening to that in the heart, the gut, that inner little voice. And if you're questioning if it's from light and love, always ask, is this from light and love? And if it's not, it'll go away because it'll be scared.
How long did it take you to realize that perspective mattered so much in recovery?
I
And
didn't know
what was the aha moment?
when I got into mindset coaching after I had started a home business. Up until that point, no one in my I spent a lot of years not being around a neuropsychologist, but even when I went back, she didn't understand my perspective, and she thought I had a beautiful life. And I found this on my I found this on my own, but I didn't find it on my own because God just was patient and held my hand, and it happened when it was supposed to happen.
Beautiful. What role do you think gratitude plays during difficult times? Which is an oxymoron because a difficult time, you're not going to think of gratitude.
I can pretty much think about gratitude every day because it is a secret superpower. It gets you, if you can be like, as soon as something happens, like seriously, it took work to get to that, but I'm like, okay, there's something good in this. Where is it? Show me where the good is because I'm I'd like to see it, and play with it. And the more you look at it as a play, like when something's happening, there's always a breath. Always. Okay, there's something good in this.
Yeah,
And say
there
it
is.
like that. That way it kind of puts the stop sign to the monkey brain of you're full of crap. And no, you want to own seeing the good. I mean, I was positive for a lot of years, but then after I got out of school and I got into the real world, I eventually got and I started to take things that were I thought were being said to help me. I started to take them personally, and I judged myself. And I was my absolute worst enemy. And there were times when my husband didn't want to be around me because I was so negative. But yet I was always so positive for everyone else. But around him, I knew I didn't have to put up that front.
Well,
And
that
so he
word,
got
front, putting up a front. Yeah.
he would see the back, he would get the crap. And that wasn't fair to him. And I can truly tell you, because I looked at, and it took a while. I mean, I would feel things were moving or whatever, and he's like, but I don't see it. Well, now if you ask my husband, he even admitted to me a couple weeks ago that our life is completely changed and is so much better. Our relationship is so much better on so many levels.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
it's
I'm,
not
I'm
easy.
single. Go ahead.
It's not easy, but it's worth it. No matter
Yeah.
what, it is worth it. You owe it to yourself to treat yourself well. You
Yeah.
don't need to beat up on yourself. The world does a good enough job of that.
Well, and being by myself, single, widowed, um, it's, the stroke. I say this so often, and people probably are sick of it, but it was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life, but it has become the most rewarding. Get, get choked up. I've learned more about myself. I've learned more about other people. I've learned more about exceeding limits. being limitless, wanting to be limitless. There's,
And yeah, and I
yeah,
can
yeah,
I just
go.
say so many I'm all for the awareness, of letting people know and that what a brain injury is and that you can't see it. I'm not against that, but honey, that isn't going to fix how you feel about yourself. That isn't going to help your life. The inner work will change your life.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when all this happened, looking at it as an invitation for you to find parts of who you really are that you never knew existed is a great
yeah,
way to try to even if you only take it for a second and give yourself that much, then that grows that much and that much every time you do it.
yeah. Very true. I've got so many more things to talk about with you. We're going to have to do this another time. Is
Okay?
there anything else you want to add to today?
Never give up. Be kind to yourself. Listen to your heart and your gut. And if you don't know if it's your mind or your gut and heart talking to you, ask yourself, where is this coming from? Because you have every right to ask, where is this coming from? If it's not from, if it's not from light and love, send it away. It'll go away because it's scared of you because you're full of light and love and God wants you the best that you are because you're here for another day.
Janet, as always, thank you. You're an incredible uh, person to talk to, and I appreciate it. To our
You are
listeners,
so welcome.
to our
Thank you.
listeners, remember your story matters. Your recovery is worth fighting for, and you are never alone on this path. We are warriors achieving victories every day. Thank you, everyone.